welcome back to BuddhasCool. Please remember to like this video if you liked it, and we'd really appreciate you subscribing to BuddhasCool. Hi, Salima.
Hi, Jess.
Salima, how's the isolation going?
So it's actually not, I don't want to, be insensitive to other people, but it's not really the end of the world. It's not so bad. I work from home as usual. So for me, being here is not a problem. I do find that there's a very clear busyness in my mind, much more busy than usual. I do feel other people's stuff, and I try not to get caught up in it as much, but I do feel like there's a lot of more emotions kind of swirling around. There's a lot of indignant emotions, a lot of anger, a lot of fear. So I'm sensing a lot of that. I'm doing a lot of my work online these days. But personally for me, I've found that I'm very grateful to be able to, on a very practical level, pivot and be able to do my work in a way that I can still function and still help people. And then on a non-practical level, I'm very grateful for my mindfulness practice, because I do really feel very strongly that it has helped me be able to recognize and be aware of what's coming up in my heart and my mind, and not be completely taken over by it,
Yeah, I just love how there's so much opportunity to learn during all the isolation times, in particular, learn about ourselves and how much we can handle, how much some of us didn't know that we could be alone this much or be home this much and be okay. I'm actually noticing certainly a lot of people are having trouble with it, but not that much trouble, right? And I feel proud of humanity that's getting through it. And I feel like a lot of people are learning and taking the opportunity even to actually be more productive, doing things that they wouldn't normally do that are good for them, like even researching some new topics, learning about some different things, and also in the case of a lot of my students, just doubling down on the mindfulness practice and learning more about vipassana, joining more meditations. And for anybody interested in Salima or my meditations and classes and services, I'm going to have our websites in the description below, by the way. And if you'd like to add any comments about how the isolation has been for you, and how about this? What have you learned about yourself and maybe are a little bit proud of what you've been able to accomplish? We'd like to get that inspiration and have you share that as inspiring, hopefully, to other listeners.
I do very strongly, sense that this isn't a walk in the park for a lot of people. There are people whose home lives are not harmonious, who don't get along with their partner or kids.
I think they'd kill for a walk in the park right about now. The parks are closed.
Exactly. I get a sense that, I think I read, and I don't know if I can trust the statistic, but somewhere that domestic disputes are up 22%. And
well, but that just makes sense because people are together about 50% more than before. So up 22% isn't bad.
No, I do get a sense that there, if your home life wasn't harmonious, productive, unified, whatever to begin with, then there's nowhere you can run away to now. You're not only faced with that person that you're living with or those people that you're living with, but you're faced with the stuff that comes up in your own heart when you're with them, and you can't really get away from that. And so it might be a very painful one, but it is a really big opportunity for us to learn about ourselves, and on a practical level to change things that we need to change, that we've been avoiding or running away from or ignoring. It really easily able to ignore before, not so easy to ignore now.
It's almost like the world is giving us a really big opportunity here to see right in the face of the immediacy of the issue and the immediacy then of your own emotions and your own life situation, to whether it be contemplate, is my job really for me? Is this really what I should be doing? To contemplate, are there any other skills I should be learning? To contemplate, is this relationship working? To contemplate our ability to, our loyalty, and we're going to make this work in relationships that are having difficulties, whatever it might be. You know, I just feel like this world in this pandemic is giving us an opportunity to reevaluate things, to affirm things, and to really give us almost a much needed rest and a much needed test.
I agree. I really do sense that underneath it all, it really points to, you know, are we taking that opportunity? Are we able to? And sometimes it is, you know, like I look at, you know, I can think of one person in particular who's close to me, who's in my family, who, you know, this person works 6 days a week, hardly ever gets to see their kids, and now is sort of locked up with their kids every single day. And, you know, the kids are very happy about it, but it's a huge radical shift for this person. And how are they able to handle it? And can they make the most of this time? And I believe that they are. But it really comes down to almost a question of resiliency, and, you know, not how productive you can necessarily be, but how are you approaching this time, and are you able to make the most of it and take advantage of it, rather than, you know, drowning your sorrows, or, you know, running to Netflix, or just running away from your life. You know, that there are those other kinds of windows that are opening up to run away to, and they're usually on devices and screens. But some people really are. I feel like there are a lot of people who are, you know, taking classes or courses that they would never have done before, enriching their lives with, you know, more time to practice their meditation or their whatever spiritual practice that they have.
I think a lot of people do. Sorry, Salima. I just think that when talking about your friend or your family member and that, a lot of people say that, oh, I wish I had more time to be with the kids, or I wish I had more time for this and that. Well, now we have that time. So was that really lip service, or is it really the case, right? A lot of the time we think that we don't want to work so much, or we don't like work. But then when we have all this extra free time and we're not at work, maybe we start to appreciate that the problem isn't the work and those kind of things. But if we're having a lot of difficulties, that the problem is actually an internal issue, emotional, spiritual, what have you, the need for more mental training, etc.
Yeah, what we thought we wanted, suddenly we have, you know, not through our choice, but because of the circumstances. And, you know, what's really going on then? If we're not able to enjoy it or make the most of it or accept it, then there's something else going on, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. And part of the job, our job in our mindfulness practice, is to be able to see some of this other stuff internally going on. And then if we have trouble identifying it ourselves, or if we're having a lot of pain and a lot of difficulty, just to get balanced, to get set right, we might need to seek a Reiki practitioner or a reading or a healer to be able to help get us balanced first, and then work on some things like our mindfulness and vipassana practice. So thank you, Salima, for spending this time talking about the isolation. I suppose being home and me being home here in Thailand, and you in Toronto, but being home, we do have a lot of extra time to spend some time together. Will you do this again with me soon?
Sure, whenever you want, Jess.
Thanks so much, Salima. And everyone, don't forget to like and subscribe and leave a comment below. We'd love to hear from you, and talk to you next time.